Hey everyone, welcome back to the Plant-Based Theory. Today we're going to talk about mindset so that you can wrap your head around all this before you jump in. All right, so we're going to talk about two things today. We're going to talk about the right way to approach this mentally, and then we're going to talk about how to break some negative verbal patterns that you may have without even knowing it. So the first thing I like to tell people is that learning a new way of eating is very much like learning a new language. If you've ever tried to learn a new language before, you know it doesn't happen overnight, it doesn't happen in a week, it doesn't happen in 2 weeks or 2 months. It usually takes a very long time, unless you're using one of those new programs that tells you can learn a language in a week, and I call bullshit. Let's just put it this way. I took Spanish for 5 years and then went to live in Spain for part of a summer and realized I still had no idea how to speak Spanish. Learning a new way of eating is quite like that. You need to put a lot of time and effort into understanding this new language so that you can speak it fluently, and it's as easy as speaking English. The problem is when people go to learn this way of eating, they immediately start freaking out and saying things like, well, how am I going to get my protein, or how am I going to get my calcium, or how am I going to get enough calories? There's a million things that people say, but it's all like anxiety based. When we go to learn a new language, we certainly don't sit there and say things like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to say I love you again? Or how am I going to ask where the bathroom is? We don't do that. We just put time and effort into learning the new language. What happens is we spend all this time freaking out, and that's time that could be put into learning the new language. So the first thing I'm going to say to you is calm down. Just realize that when you learn a new language, you will be fluent in it. You won't need to worry about where you're going to get X, Y, and Z. You will just know. How long will it take you? I can't tell you. How long does it take you to learn a new language? Everybody's different. You will need to do it until you become fluent, and then you will speak it with ease, and it won't be a challenge at all. But if you spend all your time worrying about how you're going to do it, you're never going to do it. Put your worry aside and just get in there, get your feet dirty, and start learning. Obviously, my videos will turn into more educational videos on nutrition and eating, but I want to get this in your heads first, because it's obviously very important to have your mindset correct before we dive in, or you're going to be freaking out the whole time. The next thing I wanted to attack is the negative verbal patterns that I mentioned. When I start working with people, they immediately again start freaking out and saying things like, I could never give up my coffee or wine or cheese, when no one's told them to give up those things. They just immediately think about the things that they really like, and they assume that their lives are going to end if these things are taken from them. My big suggestion is to just not even think about those things. We naturally fear the unknown, so because this is a language that you don't know yet, you're going to fear it. You're going to have anxiety and wonder what's going to happen and what you're going to have to put in your pie hole, and if it's going to taste good or if it's not going to taste good. As you learn the new language, chances are you're going to learn about a lot of different foods and nutrients, and you will make your own decisions. You're a big girl or a big boy, so we put our big girl and big boy panties on, and we make the decisions we need based on what we've learned about them. And if you haven't learned anything about them yet, then it's very hard to make that decision. And hey, be proud of yourself. This takes time and determination, and you're learning a new language, which is fantastic. So tell your friends about it. Say, hey, I'm learning a new language, and they'll be like, oh, what language are you learning? You can say plant-based eating, and they'll be like, what? And then you can explain it to them. It's silly to worry about things that may or may not happen in the future when it comes to anything in life. It's kind of wasted energy and emotion to have anxiety and worry over something that could be 10 months down the road and may not even happen. So if you find yourself worrying about something, just again, take a deep breath, relax, tell yourself, you know what, when I get there and start learning about this thing, then I'll make a decision. Until then, I'm just not going to worry and focus all of my attention and energy into learning. But to sum things up today, I just want to say, give yourself a break. Recognize that this is like learning a new language. It's going to take time and effort. But if you think about all the time and effort you may have already put into fad diets or trying to lose weight, or, whatever. I know people who have struggled for years. You know, if you had done this right from the beginning and just learned this new language, you would be there already. Put all your time and energy into learning and you will get there. So relax, smile, enjoy the ride, and that's the best advice I can give. I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. Remember to tell your friends about what you've learned and subscribe if you're a YouTube user, and I will catch up with you next time. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.